Have you ever seen that movie called Ex Machina? Or Ex, well, I mean, I guess if you saw the word, it would look like Machina. Ex Machina. Have you ever seen that movie? If you haven't, you should watch it. Because I feel like that's the end game. That's why I tell people you need to live your best life now. Because I know that it feels like this extermination process, but it's more like a timeline flipping. Because people think that on the earth we're experiencing these different timelines, but we're really not. Because we're born on a timeline. We're here to stay. The thing is, when we cross over, we enter into different dimensions and realities. And there's a book that you need to read, Life Between Lives by Michael Newton. You need to read that. And there's another one called Lives Beyond. You need to read those. And anyone who's experiencing NDEs, it's because it's a manipulation process. Everything's a humiliation ritual and a ritualization and a process to an end game. Because this planet is about what? Consumption, number one, in all manners and forms, right? So if you start to think of it like that, you shouldn't feel too bad about your consumption, and you should also realize that there is no right or wrong. That is why there's some extreme things happening and people seem to get away with it. That's why we really want to believe in karma. And like when my ex did horrible things to me and I had to file bankruptcy, I left him the home because he was a PDF and no one wanted to believe me, and CPS services protected him and all of this. Everyone said, oh, he'll get it. You know, karma is a, you know what, he'll get it. He never did. He never did. I had to work my butt off in my salon and was still, you know, being a female in the beauty industry is difficult. Being a psychic female in the world is difficult. And people always wanted me to financially support them. Clients always wanted free stuff. And the ex got the home because it was either my life or the home. So it was a consumption process. Either I paid with my life or I paid through money. Because this is a HE double hockey sticks realm, correct? So there's always a payment. Like everything costs. There's always a price to pay. Because it's a HE double hockey sticks hockey game. So I call it the hockey game, you know, because they have talking code. So if you start to really see it for what it is, and I think people are starting to see it for what it is, and how we transcend this level of the Hunger Games, you go on to another realm, which is actually probably better than this one. Just know that. And if you just get rid of the idea of karma, yes, people can really build their own karma, but a lot of it too is from their guilt of like not feeling worthy, which is a major human problem with the human condition. And so a lot of people will cause their own punishment. Like I talk about attracting the same like narcissistic partner or toxic relationship, is because also like you really don't believe you deserve better. And also too, external factors are still there, like the place you live in, who surrounds you, who you interact with is very limited. And so you can only meet who's around you. And it may not be anything better than what it is. So if that's the case, then that doesn't mean that you aren't on that level. It's because that's what's surrounding you. I used to always warn my clients about love spells. You're going to attract the one that's more open, that's around you, and the one that you're interacting with. So if there isn't anyone around you that you have an eye on, then maybe branch out. Of course, if you're online, it might help you to protect yourself. I mean, protection work, I think, should be done in all cases. But at the same time, like, if you're living in no man's land and there is no man's, then that's what you're going to get. And I think people don't understand that even though we do attract a lot and we reflect a lot and we accept a lot, there's also the external factors that we can't control. There are things outside of us that we cannot control. And everything is like this game. Like that, there's another movie, I think it's called The Cube, where they get stuck inside this big giant Rubik's Cube type thing, and they have to find their way out like a maze, and in the middle of it, they can get getting unalived by like booby traps and stuff. So it's like we have this earth is like that. Can you make it through? Like the food that you eat, you didn't know that the quality has gone down. You didn't know that you were going to have gallbladder problems and digestive problems because the quality of food is actually declining, and you just didn't realize it. And then you have to try to eat healthier and eat organic and hope and pray that it's like really what it is, because it's all trade. And and you can say, yeah, grow your own food. I grew up in that lifestyle, and it's just as toxic. It's not easy growing your own food, and it can be just as dangerous and just as toxic. Like my mom and I almost got taken out by a wasp hive that made their hive in a pile of fall leaves that had not been there for very long. And we got bit up. We could have both had anaphylactics and been like out of here. And many other things of growing our own food. And it wasn't even like a full farm. It was like partial. We still had to go to the grocery store. It's just like never enough. And one time we planted tulips, and we both had severe hives because we were allergic to the bulbs, and we both had to go to the emergency. So like it's like, there's no answer for escaping this realm other than like you live as long as you can. You have the luck that you have, because it's really luck. It's really luck to even be born. Like they always say, like you're lucky to be born and not swallowed or something like that, or whatever else, or unalived or left behind, because you're just meant to be on this, kind of like that movie Tron. Like they're on that, the bikes are on that little row, and if they intersect and they crash, you never know what you're going to intersect. So it's kind of like, it's kind of like this creepy, weird world we're living in, where we have kind of like a destiny, but sometimes it's not completely destined because we still make choices. At the same time, sometimes you can't avoid the inevitable, which is what? Unaliving in Texas. We know that for sure. There's always a price to pay, no matter what you do. And you cannot get out of it. Because once you're born here and your roots are here, you can manipulate things as much as you can and do with what you can with what you have. But in the end, we all end up in the same way. 6 feet under, back to the earth, soul ascended, and hope that we can cross into a better realm than this one. So I think that if people start to realize that, and start to realize that you're living your life for just a limited time only, and to make the best of it, to like really realize that, I think that would really change the way people think. Because this earth is all about consumption on all levels, in all forms, and in all ways. And it cannot change. Because there's a toll to pay. The Grim Reaper every time. My stomach. I'm hungry. So I started to take things less seriously when I started to really, even as a medium, I knew this as a kid. When I was like 5 and 6, I knew this. I used to skip out in school because I was like, this doesn't matter. This isn't going to matter. And I got majorly detained and harassed by a group of teachers in a room several times, and it was traumatizing. So that's when I knew. So when you get targeted or attacked, or like, hey, Truman Show, you know that you finally get it, and to quit taking everything so seriously, but at the same time too, yeah, you want to protect those who you can protect. But that's what they call it, a spiritual battle, because it is. And that's definitely what we're seeing now.